Alright, in this video I'm going to talk about how to start thinking clearer and faster. This is going to be the best video I've made on how to think clearer and faster because in my opinion, and this is kind of a casual video, you know, I'm just sitting on my sofa here, it's just going to be a very simple video where I just share my thoughts on how to think faster and clearer. And there's a few reasons why you might want to do that. The first one is that you'll avoid embarrassing situations. If you're able to think really fast and on your feet all the time, you don't have to worry about, you know, coming up with something to say. You can just always have the thought that you're looking for immediately, just as soon as you want it. That's going to help you avoid most embarrassing situations. You're going to be able to learn things faster, you know, save yourself some time. It's going to be a huge benefit and improvement to your life. And to be honest, it's actually quite easy to do. There are actually quite a few things that you could do to, you know, start thinking faster and more like a successful person. And so we're going to get into them in this video. So number one, do something that you've never done before. Practice doing an activity that you've never practiced before and do it often. Repeat it over and over again until you are so good at it that it actually becomes something that is a habit, that's something that you're good at. By doing something new, you open up your brain to new ideas, to new neural pathways. You basically start learning things again. When you were a kid, you know, when we're very young, we learn things very quickly. We learn how to talk, how to walk, even though we've never done it before. And we learn these things because we just keep trying them, even though they are new and we've not done them before. And that's a powerful thing that we tend to lose as we grow older. We tend to forget to do that, and we don't really practice learning new things often. You know, we do the things that we've known how to do before. We don't really learn new skills and actually try and improve at new ideas like a kid does. But it's actually a really important thing to do. And if you do that, then you will start to unlock certain parts of your mind that were locked before. You know, you've unlocked the system which enables you to learn new ideas and create new neural pathways in your brain. This is really important. And by the way, learning a new language is a really good example of how you can open your brain up in ways that it wasn't before. You're constantly creating new connections between ideas or concepts, like for example, the concept of a sofa, and words, you know, in different languages, the word for sofa, and what it really means and how you can connect these things together. And this is actually something that most people don't do because, you know, the vast majority of people don't have a second language, so they never practice those skills. But if you just take the time to learn just one other language that isn't your main language, studies have shown that it helps you to become smarter. You know, you learn more quickly, you can think better in a wide range of different areas, not just in language, but in other things as well. So another random activity that you probably didn't know is that if you just chew a piece of chewing gum, you actually are able to learn and recall things a bit better than if you didn't chew the chewing gum. It's kind of a random thing, and, you know, if you don't like chewing gum, ignore this one. It's just a little thing I thought I'd throw in here. So another really powerful way of thinking faster is just to trust your instincts. Most people, when they're trying to decide what to do, they will actively use their brain to work out logically what's the best option, what's the best choice. But your brain has an intuitive intelligence to it that most people don't really listen to very often. You know, it's been called all sorts of things like trusting your instinct, trusting your gut, you know, following your heart, whatever. But your subconscious brain has a very powerful level of intelligence to it. That means that you don't really need to think everything through. You can actually just trust your brain or your instinct to make the best decision for you. And this is a really powerful way of saving time, but the appearance that will give is that you're able to think really fast. But what you're actually doing is you're just using the more powerful part of your brain, which is the subconscious mind. So in a nutshell, trust your instincts more. Your brain, and specifically your subconscious brain, has a huge level of intelligence behind it. That means it's far more capable of making decisions and thinking about things than your conscious brain is. So trust it a bit more, listen to your instincts a bit more, and hopefully that will save you a bit of time and you'll be able to think faster as well. So another tip here is to work on your memory. Now, your memory is something that you don't really exercise. Well, firstly, you use your memory all the time, every day, but you never really practice improving your memory. That's something that we don't really focus on. You know, when was the last time you did a memory improvement exercise or a brain training game? Most people, it's not very often. So why don't you start doing brain training exercises where you focus on improving your memory and actually recalling things better? This is something that I really enjoy doing, and there are a number of different exercises you can do here. I have written on my blog TranscendYourLimits.com about various different memory training exercises and things like that. Try a thing called the linking method. Now, the linking method is where you create a visual link and a visual and an emotional link between two words. Let's say if you want to remember a list of different random words, like for example, tower, monkey, sausage. Let's just think of some random words here. Let's say if you want to link the word train to the word chair. You would imagine a train rushing down the train tracks, and then attached to the back of the train, trailing behind on a piece of string, is this really beaten up, covered in stains, like an armchair, just trailing behind the train. So now whenever you think of the word train, you visually see the armchair being thrown around behind the train. It creates a strong emotional link to between those two words. The result of that is that you will, when you think of the word train, will now think of the word chair. And then, so you just go along the list like that. Now you would find a link between the word chair and clock, for example, or something random like that. You can get creative with this, but my point is, you create a visual link or a story between the different words that will link them together, so that when you think of the first word, you just follow the links that you created in your brain, the visual links, and you're reminded of each word along that chain. And it becomes a lot easier to do, especially if you practice this. If you practice it once a day, you'll get really good at creating those links. The next way of thinking faster is to eat in the right way. Now, I'm not going to go into too much of a debate here, but what I'm referring to is to eat healthily. And in my opinion, but also, it's also the opinion of scientists and nutritionalists and things like that. The best diet, or the healthiest diet, is to eat a plant-based whole foods diet, which usually means vegan, but when you say the word vegan, people run away. But just try and, eat more healthily, drink more water. I have actually got detailed articles about this on my website, which I'll try and link to in the description, but just try and focus on eating more healthily. The next one is to work on your body, to exercise. Most people don't exercise enough, and they don't work out in the right way. So we know that human growth hormone, HGH, has been shown to help with things like working memory and dream recall. So really what you should be doing when you exercise, at least if you're a guy, I'm not sure, it might be slightly different if you're a girl, you should be focusing on movements that release the highest amount of growth hormone. And that's things like deadlifts, like squats, press-ups to some degree, bench press, and these types of exercises which will release the highest amount of growth hormone. That's going to really have a big impact on your working memory, mental acuity. Basically, all of the functions associated with your brain are going to be improved by your growth hormone level. And, there's a few studies around this. I'm not going to go too much into the science behind it because it's quite complicated, and, I don't want to bore you if you're not interested in that. You can find out for yourself if you are interested in, the science behind all of that stuff. But yeah, just in a nutshell, work on your body, exercise more. So a kind of unexpected exercise you can do to start thinking clearer is to actually just tidy your room or your house. Now, the place where you actually work or where you're trying to focus in, the physical environment you're in, the more organized and tidy that is, the faster you're going to be able to think, the clearer you're going to be able to think, and it's just going to be you're going to have a better time. If you're trying to work in a really messy desk and there's just things all over it, there's papers, there's just random things all over this place, you're going to have a harder time to focus because there's just mess everywhere. You need to have a tidy environment if you want to get work done. Your desk needs to be clear. There's been studies to show this, and I know you're going to think, you're going to try and tell me the classic example of like visionaries or geniuses who have mess everywhere and they just have ideas and notes and diagrams all over their room. There are exceptions. Some people work better in messy environments, but most people do better if their environment was tidy. If their desk was clear, their room was tidy, their bedroom, their house was clean, they would focus better. They would be able to focus better on what they're doing. They'd be able to think more clearly, and they'd just have a better time in general. So at least try it out. See, it might not work for you, but it might actually make a big difference for you. You need to try it out to see whether it's the right thing for you to do. And lastly, if you want to think more clearly, you probably know what I'm going to say, and that is to try nootropics. Now, a nootropic is a type of smart drug, cognitive enhancer, and they've been around for a while now, but they're starting to really have some powerful ingredients and dosages in these things. The dosages are now getting to the point where they really do make a difference to how fast you can think, how clearly you can think, and how much you're able to do, your actual output, how well you're able to perform in anything, whether it's a sport or cognitive thing or, in conversation, in social situations, whatever. Nootropics in general are starting to really become effective, and they're also becoming very affordable. I've written reviews of many nootropics on TranscendYourLimits.com to save you a bit of time, because there are hundreds of them. There are so many out there, and a lot of them are good, a lot of them are bad, and there's some that just don't really do anything. To save you a bit of time, the ones I use, and I've tested loads of them, are MindLab Pro, OptiNeuro, and Ciltep. Ciltep spelled Ciltep. And I have links to these all in the description, or you can just go to transcendyourlimits.com/nootropics, and you will find reviews and information about them. But beyond that, just make sure you're taking a healthy, good quality multivitamin every single morning, and you're eating right, you're drinking enough water, you're sleeping enough, and if you add nootropics onto that, the results that you're going to get are going to be really, really good, because you've already got that foundation there. You're already healthy, you're already doing the right things for your body, you're giving yourself the nutrition and vitamins that you need anyway, and then on top of that, you're just adding on some cognitive enhancers like, all of these things I mentioned. That's only going to be a good thing. But of course, do your own research, check the interactions if you're already taking medication, if you're already taking other nootropics or vitamins or supplements, whatever. Check the interactions and make sure you're not, going to cause yourself any problems. But for most people, they're a huge benefit, that the effect they have on you is really worthwhile. And I can personally say, I've been using nootropics for a long time now, years, and they're great. So, okay, that's it for now, guys. If you did like this video, make sure to leave a comment, and I'll see you in the next one. Done.